This is breaking news from KSL.
Welcome back in. We've got breaking news into the newsroom right now. We understand a shooting has happened on the campus of Utah Valley University.
Yeah, information just coming into the KSL newsroom. The police alert saying that a single shot was fired toward a visiting speaker. Police are investigating now. They do have a suspect in custody. We can tell you political analyst Charlie Kirk was there speaking today. We have a witness joining us on the phone. This is Taylor Birmingham from the campus of UVU. Taylor was there as the shot was fired. Taylor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Tell us what you saw, what you experienced today.
It was just shortly after he had started his second speech. Everything was going great. Everyone was, getting along and happy and everything. And then we just heard one shot. It didn't sound like it was a very high caliber. It sounded like a smaller one. But my wife immediately fell, but I saw him, and he definitely got shot. It looked like roughly in between his neck and like his collarbone area or somewhere in the neck.
Taylor,
what it looked like, but there was a lot of blood.
Taylor, can you set up the scene for us inside the arena where that speech was taking place as this was happening? What can you tell us about what was going on around you?
Everything was great. Everybody was getting along, and there was two crowds there that were from a different perspective or view that were screaming and yelling a lot. But besides that, everybody was getting along. It was great. I mean, we all love Charlie. He's amazing.
What happened immediately after you heard that sound? I imagine it was pretty chaotic.
It was very chaotic. Yeah. The biggest fear was my wife at first. That there was a whole lot of just fear and sadness, and
Sure.
mass
Sure.
destruction. I guess everybody just freaking out, trying to take care of their own, and we're all trying to help everyone else. We all just everybody
run. And as you ran through the halls, every single person just started running. You could feel it. They were crying.
We are here live.
So people scattered both inside buildings and outside, just trying to clear the area as quickly as possible.
Yeah. There were just crowds of people trying to get out as fast as they could.
Well, Taylor and Mia, thank you so much for sharing your account. We're glad you're safe, and we appreciate you sharing your experience with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We can now confirm Charlie Kirk was the individual shot on UVU campus. It was a highly promoted speech that was scheduled for this morning. Charlie Kirk, of course, an American right-wing political activist. He's an author. He's a media personality. You can see now from this UDOT camera the congestion of traffic as people obviously try to leave the area. It cleared pretty quickly, obviously, after that happened, but now cars and vehicles backed up a little bit on University Parkway as people try to leave that scene.
Yeah, this was a highly publicized event. A lot of people aware that this was going to be going on. A lot of fans of Charlie Kirk who were using this as an opportunity to see him for the first time. From witnesses, they told us about 2,000 to 3,000 people were in attendance there. We know Utah Valley University homed about 46,000 students there at the time as well. And so we're getting information streaming in. Again, we can tell you that a suspect is in custody. As far as Charlie Kirk's condition, we have not been given any details or confirmation on the status of his health.
A really unique venue and potentially a tricky one for law enforcement or security, where you're in an outdoor setting, and it was set up in it appeared to be a semicircular shape pointed toward a tent where Charlie Kirk was seated. He hadn't yet taken the podium. He was being introduced. The first speaker of the morning had stepped up, was introducing, I think someone said even asking an opening question, and Charlie Kirk at the time was seated underneath a canopy shaded just to the left of that podium when that shot was fired. KSL reporter Alex Cabrero is en route to Utah Valley University. He also is tracking the updated information and also the feedback as it rolls out. Alex, what can you tell us?
Just about to UVU campus right now, but I got to tell you, it is, as expected, it is absolute chaos here. There are cars coming out. It is almost a parking lot on the roads. They're trying to orderly get people to leave, at least where we can see. But there are also a lot of people who are trying to make their way onto campus as well, just to be a part of this, to see this or witness this or be there, because Charlie Kirk is such a large presence, has a lot of fans. And so we're just in the middle of that right now, trying to make our way into the area where we can at least start reporting on television.
It's interesting, Alex, because social media obviously reporting real time and seeing the videos that are being posted, you can feel the chaos. You're now experiencing the aftermath of that chaos with the traffic congestion as people try to leave campus, and political leaders responding really quickly in support of Charlie Kirk, sending prayers, President Trump, J.D. Vance, local leaders as well. But we don't have a current update on the condition of Charlie Kirk.
That's right, yeah, and I haven't heard anything myself either, and I haven't seen any of those videos yet myself. We were down at another event in the Pacey-Santaquin area when we got the word, from our news desk about what happened and to try to get there as quickly as we could. So I'm still catching up on the information that has been released at this point, but it's a sad day. No matter which side you're on, no matter which side you believe,
Yeah.
We're working on that right now. We're getting close, and somebody's trying to talk to me.
You're okay, Alex.
We should be able to get on television here pretty quickly.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay.
We'll look forward to your on-the-ground report here momentarily. That's Alex Cabrero on his way to the campus of Utah Valley University, where Utah now becomes a central focus as the world, the nation watches this situation unfold. We've talked about the attention this particular event had received, although those on the ground tell us and have been telling us all afternoon that the mood was very calm and peaceful prior to what you're seeing now through these social media events. There were a few pockets of protesters. One bystander identified the location of those bystanders as being elevated, as in up a level, looking down on this crowd. It's an outdoor venue kind of centralized to the campus, and estimations put the crowd at 2,000 to 3,000 people. So it was packed. It was a really full area, full venue, and relatively calm until this very moment.
Charlie Kirk, a popular political activist, just to give you some background on him, 31-year-old conservative activist, father of two. He helped found Turning Point USA. That's a nonprofit that deals with conservative youth on school campuses. He is well known among at least traveling to college campuses across the country. A well-known supporter of President Donald Trump, a close ally of many in his circle. In fact, he spoke at the 2024 presidential convention just days after an attempted assassination attempt on Trump. And as we just heard from President Trump, who is also offering his condolences as well.
Yes, political leaders taking to social media, Governor Spencer Cox among them. He's saying on X that he is tracking the situation. This is the comment that Tamara most recently mentioned coming in from President Trump. We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot, a great guy from top to bottom. God bless him.
Governor Spencer Cox also weighing in on X that he is being briefed on the situation, posting in part, quote, "Those responsible will be held fully accountable. Violence has no place in our public life." He goes on to say Americans of every political persuasion must unite in condemning this act. Our prayers are with Charlie, his family, and all those affected.
Details are limited, although we can tell you one person has been taken into custody. There's a very visible social media video of that individual being led off campus by a swarm of police officers and security individuals. That individual is wearing a blue shirt, and one bystander told us that right after the shot rang out, immediately attention went to that individual in the blue shirt. So it didn't take long, one would assume, for police to have him in custody.
And we know that KSL news specialist Alex Cabrero is on his way to the Utah Valley University campus, hopefully to get us another perspective a little bit closer to campus. But as we just saw from video, lots of cars there right now, pretty much a traffic jam. So as we mentioned, information, it is coming in as we're showing you another live picture there from our UDOT camera there, right off of University Parkway near the campus. It looks like traffic there at a standstill, but several emergency vehicles out there right now as we kind of piece together all of this information. Again, 31-year-old Charlie Kirk shot on the UVU campus earlier today.
This was a highly publicized event. There was some criticism, there was some concern about the crowd it may draw, but the crowd this afternoon was described as peaceful. You can see there that tent, that's Charlie Kirk seated beneath it, shaded from the noon sun, wearing that white t-shirt. He had not even spoken yet. He was being introduced or was preparing to speak, preparing to give his remarks when this happened. There was someone at the podium that had opened the event, that had set things in motion when a single shot, we're told, rang out, and the crowd quickly started to react packed and dispersed. Someone telling us people ran inside buildings, near neighboring buildings, as of course you can see an outdoor venue there on the campus of Utah Valley University. So crowds scattering as quickly as they could to get to safety. Yeah,
Brooke, you and I spoke to several witnesses that were there on the ground, just talking about, moments before they heard the shot. It was a fairly calm event, no, concern about safety whatsoever. Although we know, like, leading up to the event, it was very highly publicized. Estimation of about 2,000 to 3,000 people there on the ground.
Yeah, bystanders described a couple of pockets of individuals. One identifying those individuals crying out or yelling out or shouting out as being positioned in the upper balconies. And you can see, this venue is so unique in that it's outdoors, obviously, so a vast kind of sprawling, there's not a defined perimeter, so to speak, but you can see pockets of people on the tiers, on the balconies, on the enclaves. This post you're seeing, obviously not current. This is a previous post from Charlie Kirk stating that how excited he was to be at UVU today. This just in from Senator John Curtis. He said, "My heart goes out to Charlie, those in attendance, and their families. We're praying for his safety and the well-being of everyone impacted." Lots of local leaders and national political leaders, too, taking to X, taking to social media to share their well wishes.
Yes, and we also heard from Governor Cox that they are definitely looking into this investigation, talking to officials there on scene. So as you can imagine, the information is just continuing to pour in. We are getting new video and hopefully getting some more folks who were there on the ground willing to give us their accounts. Again, as we mentioned, KSL News Specialist Alex Cabrero is on his way there to the scene to Utah Valley University as well.
We heard a couple bystanders immediately praising the reaction from law enforcement. And of course, our current climate demands a presence of security and attention to politically oriented events like this. But a couple different witnesses we spoke to praising the reaction of law enforcement on the ground. It took about 30 minutes, we were told, for UVU to officially send out a text or a notice to clear the campus, although at that point, of course, as you might imagine, people had cleared the area and it had been cleared for quite a while.
We also heard from Vice President J.D. Vance as well, offering his condolences. We also heard from FBI Director Kash Patel, who, quote, said, "Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected." Patel also wrote on X that agents will be on scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and investigation. So in addition to the local police enforcement who are there, as well as the private security detail of Mr. Kirk, the FBI is going to be investigating.
It was Turning Point USA that first officially confirmed it was Charlie Kirk that had been shot. Of course, that was immediate suspicion, just based on the event and the featured prominence of this particular speaker. Charlie Kirk serves as the executive director of Turning Point USA, so his own company confirming about 20 minutes ago that he was shot. Bystanders telling us a single gunshot is all they heard, though they described it as a firework popping. Someone saying his ear was still ringing after hearing and experiencing that sound.
Okay, we want to go right now to KSL's Alex Cabrero, who has made his way to Utah Valley University. Alex, what can you tell us right now?
That's right. Yeah, we just got here on campus to one of the parking lots. And as we mentioned just a little bit ago when we were talking to you over the phone, is that there were a lot of students and people trying to leave the area, a lot of students and people also trying to come in to be a part of this, just to kind of witness this for themselves, to be a part of this. Of course, Charlie Kirk, a very popular activist, a very popular speaker who's been going to campuses all across the country, encouraging debate on either side, on both sides, just trying to spread the message and the word of what he wants people to hear and hear kind of the other side of the story often. Join me here now is Brendan. He's one of the people who was here when all this happened. Now, Brendan is not a student here. He came all the way from Clearfield just to be a part of this and to see this. And Brendan, you were telling me you were right there when this happened.
Yeah, so it was pretty packed when I got here. It took me about 30 minutes just to find parking. When I finally got there, there were thousands of people, I would say. He was kind of like in a pit almost, and we were kind of gathered up like some stairs. I kind of moved my way closer. I was about 15 feet away. He was actually just talking about mass shootings too, which is crazy, with the trans shooting that just happened recently with the trans shooter. And as soon as he got done answering the question, we heard a loud pop. He got hit in the left side of his neck and dropped. We all dropped. His security dragged him out of there, and we just ran. So You know, it's crazy.
I can't imagine. This is probably terrifying. You're there just to hear the debate, to be a part of this. You hear the shot. You said you hit the ground.
Yeah, obviously, because at first we didn't know what it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
Once we figured it out, I was more angry, I would say, than terrified. You know, we hear all the time that we're the problem, we're the violent ones, we're the issue. And yet this is the second mass shooting attempt on a political figure. First Donald Trump, now we have Charlie Kirk. But yet we're the problem. I don't know of any mass shootings that happened with Joe Biden. I don't know any of Obama. I don't know of any of the Democratic side. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but we got to come together. This is ridiculous. Whether you believe what he says or not, we got to stop all this nonsense.
Right, and absolutely, and it's one of those things too, you know, no matter what side you're on, we should be able to have debate openly without the violence, no matter what side you're on. It's very charged, it's very political right now.
Exactly.
But I like what you said, we should come together. This needs to stop, no matter what side.
Right, yeah, and I completely agree with that. You know, everything going on in the world, everything's so hostile now when it comes to political parties. Yeah. We got to stop all of this. You know, like I said, they blame us, we blame them. We got to stop and just come together. We got to stop having a political agenda and get them to turn us against each other like they are. And it's just what they want. And we got to stop. Yeah. And because I wear the stuff I wear, people look at me like I'm a bad person. But I think I'm a good person. I don't care what you believe. As long as you're a good person, that's all I care about.
Brandon, thank you so much for your time. Sorry, because it's chilling. When you see the videos, it's chilling. Sorry you saw this, but I know you're probably heading out and trying to figure out, you've been chatting with your friends, so it's just one of those things, just figuring out what next, Brandon.
Absolutely. We'll be all right.
Thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate you. So Brandon's story is one of several that we've been hearing just to hear the debate, to be a part of this, and was there when the shot came out, and you heard Brandon say he hit the deck, he hit the ground, not sure what it was or where it came from, but immediately we saw some videos of people just starting to run, and there are people just, I mean, there are students here. Mark, if you take a look at the traffic, this is just some of the traffic line we have of people just trying to get out of the area, but also come into the area. We've heard from UVU Public Safety and Orem Police to try to avoid the area if you can. There are some roadblocks in the area, but I mean, even just around here, just students milling around who were witnesses to this, trying to make sense of it, trying to come to terms with it. Whenever you deal with something, you know, like this, there's that adrenaline, and as it starts to go away, that adrenaline, you really do feel it. It's numbing. It's scary. It's all the emotions that you can imagine after witnessing something like this and being a part of something like this. And then, as you heard Brendan say, you could tell he's a big Trump fan, big right side, Make America Great Again hat. But even he says this is too much. And no matter what side you're on, we shouldn't be having this stuff. That's what Brendan says. And even he said it. It would be nice if we could come together. I don't know if this is going to be the spark that brings people together. We've seen countless examples of this throughout the country in recent years. And you wonder at what point do we realize enough is enough. So that's something we'll be chatting with students about, trying to get their perspectives on all of this. And as we gather more, we'll certainly pass it along to you.
Yeah, Alex, thank you. You characterized, I think, the raw emotion really well. And it is a sad day for us in Utah, but everyone across the country for all of the reasons that you described. This speech, this appearance was part of the American Comeback Tour. Charlie Kirk was expected to live debate people who would pose, you know, lines of thinking or questions. And so it was a live debate. More than 6,000 people did sign a petition protesting against his appearance. He was, interestingly enough, scheduled, I believe, to appear at Utah State University later this month as well. So he had plans to stop twice here in Utah as part of today's tour.
All right, well, we want to get some insight from our colleague, Chris Bertram, a former police chief. Can you hear me, Chris?
Yes.
We appreciate your time with us on this tragic day. We want to talk a little bit to you about the venue where this is taking place, Utah Valley University. Viewers are looking at the video right now of Mr. Kirk in the tent, as well as about 2,000 to 3,000 people. Can you kind of talk a little bit about the law enforcement side of things when dealing with an event like this in this type of venue?
Yeah, when you have an event like this, I mean, you're going to, pull in a lot of resources. There's a lot of pre-planning to go to keep not just, Charlie Kirk and his people safe, but everybody attending safe. And so I would imagine that with the pre-planning that went on with the University Police, the Orem Police, Utah County, federal partners that may have also been involved with intelligence and securing the venue, I imagine that there was quite a bit of planning that went in to make sure that the entire day that he was on campus, everybody would be safe.
And Chris, one has to assume with an outdoor venue that provides some specific trickiness in terms of crowd containment and also security control.
It does, and it's one of those, again, going back to the planning, where the event is being held on campus. Are you securing the event, directly around him, or including the buildings and other, open spaces? Because it does become, tricky. We are, our public campuses, there are, rules with regards to firearms there, and people may be allowed to bring firearms on there. If you are locking the area down, specifically with magnetometers, that again adds another, layer of security. But again,
what do you mean by that?
What do you mean? How you want to do and how you want to secure the venue.
Chris, elaborate on that. What do you mean locking it down with what?
Well, in some cases, we have secure venues where we're not going to allow anybody into the specific areas, kind of those rings of security. We may, have magnetometers, and we may search bags and things like that as we get closer. But as you get further out, it may be a more open, movable. I mean, this is a campus. People are going to class. There's other things going on during the day that they may not want to interrupt for this one event.
That makes sense. And we've noted that a couple of bystanders who were on the ground level of this event, so in the grassy field just in front of the speaker's podium, they described kind of the chaos or the shouting out and ultimately the gunshot coming from upwards. Like there's levels that we're seeing here with different buildings and different balconies, and that just all goes into the complex planning that you described that's required for an outdoor venue like this.
Absolutely. When you have elevated positions around where the venue is being held, it becomes, again, that extra layer of security as to what you're going to do or not do in some cases. There's decisions made based on, the amount of personnel, the amount of money that you're going to spend, the amount of, in some ways, the amount of restricted egress and ingress of how people are going to move around. On campuses where we're believing in the First Amendment, we've also got, it's a public campus, so the Second Amendment may apply. We may not want to impede on students and visitors, moving around the campus. On the other hand, if this is an event that we're going to secure that area, again, you're going to move further out and people may be restricted in how they move, which then, impedes on, the educational process and impedes on people's daily learning. We're not locking the campus down for the entire day during this event, it sounds like.
And I find myself thinking there's really only so much you can plan. Like, as you described, the detailed planning that is just ultimately required in a climate like ours, in a day like ours, there's only so much you can forecast and can foresee. And all of those variables become, potential safety pain points that unfortunately we're seeing play out today.
I agree with that somewhat, but I also disagree. We are, with an event like this, I imagine that there was a lot of security planning going on, a lot of intelligence planning going on. You're right. We can't predict, what we used to refer to as black swan events, things that you just couldn't imagine happening, and you can't lock that down. But there are a lot of things that can be done when we have things that are predictable. Even if it doesn't happen often, we do have great, and I always say this about, with the World Series and the Super Bowl and the Olympics, we have great people that are involved in those logistics and the planning and the security and the collaboration that goes on. And so a lot of that has been vetted out over the last 40 years, the last 20 years in Utah, because we've had significant events. We have significant events every single year that are nationally, internationally attended.
And Chris, while we cannot speak to the specificity of this particular security plan or execution, is there a point of security that you would like to see implemented more often at events like this, or something that people maybe aren't employing as often that you think would help boost security in outdoor venues specifically?
I think that, one, retrospectively, we always know a lot after events happen, and we tend to respond to that need. On the same time, we have a lot of lessons learned from the past, both here in Utah, nationally, internationally, that we put into practice. And I understand that we can't completely lock down, everything that, i.e. when the president comes to town, we lock down a lot. We keep those areas safe. That's probably not practical, with a situation with a guest speaker like him. But because of, the emotion going on, surrounding, again, Charlie Kirk and other people in similar on both sides, it does require us to be prepared and make sure that everything has been done. I do believe in this case that a lot of planning, a lot of bright-minded peoples in collaboration went into planning this. Retrospectively, we're going to know, how that was and if there were any gaps.
Chris, before we let you go, I just wanted to ask you, for folks who may be at home watching this right now unfold on TV, or perhaps even who live near Utah Valley University, what happens now as far as our local law enforcement in this investigation? What are the next steps when something of this magnitude happens right here at home?
Right. This is a significant investigation that's going to impact all of Utah. I imagine that this is going to be methodical. Both, I mentioned University Police, Orem Police, Utah County Sheriffs, they're probably neighboring agencies. Federal agencies such as ATF and the FBI will definitely be involved, determining what the intent or motive was of the people involved. Were there more than one people? This is something that is not going to take hours. It's going to take days. And there's going to be a lot of effort put into this investigation.
All right, Chris Bertram, thank you so much for your insight and professional perspective. We always appreciate what you have to say and add. Local alerts going out to elementary schools in the area, prompting a shelter in place. Moms, dads, parents getting alerts as we speak, as security measures kind of unroll as a result of a shooting that happened at Utah Valley University. We can confirm Charlie Kirk was shot, as you've likely heard, expected to speak at noon today. We don't have an exact timeline or a breakdown. This was a highly publicized event. There was a petition that had gone out ahead of this event. Less than 1,000 people signed up for the UVU appearance. He was expected to speak at Utah State University later this month, and 6,000 people had signed a petition protesting his appearance later this month at that campus. You're looking at a live look now, a live picture from Chopper 5, the aftermath of this morning's really unfortunate and tragic event.
And we have been showing you videos that have been circulating online of the event. And we actually have KSL's news specialist, Alex Cabrera, who's there on campus at UVU, who has been speaking to some of the folks who attended that event. Alex.
Yeah, just still a whole lot of shock and unbelievable sense of what happened. Why did this happen? There's you can still see the traffic here, people trying to leave campus right now as we speak, just because the investigation is beginning. The police, law enforcement, they would like to be able to screen those leaving the event, try to figure out exactly what happened. Did this one person that we hear is in custody, did that one person act alone? We're still trying to determine that ourselves. And we've been chatting with some people who have been here during this event, noticing what happened. Everybody just telling the stories, catching up and such. Joy, can I chat with you in 1 second? We're just live on TV here. Hold on 1 second. But here is Kim, her daughter Bentley, and Wes. They were just here for the debate themselves. Not students here. You said you used to be a student here, but you didn't hear the shots, you said, Kim, but all of a sudden you saw people running. That had to be terrifying.
Yes, but we were heading to the event, and all of a sudden there were just a group of people just running down the hallway, and they're like, shots have been fired, there's gunshots, run, run, run. So I grabbed my daughter, and we just booked it out of there. It was scary because you don't know if it's real, if it's not, but you just have to go with your gut and get out of there. But it was scary. The adrenaline shot up through my body, and I chills, and just we were freaking out.
Yeah, and you know, we always hear about this. This always happens somewhere else, but when it's happening right where you are, all of a sudden it's as real as it gets, and you freeze. What do you do?
I didn't really understand what was going on, and we just heard gun, and I was like, what's going on? So I tried to alert other people. My mom was like, Bentley, run. So we just ran and found the nearest door to exit out, and it was just terrifying. You get chills, and you kind of freeze, but you're like, I have to save my life and everything. So that's just, yeah, it was scary. It didn't feel real. Yeah.
And Mom, as her mom, you know, we're hearing from a lot of parents who have students here. Their kids go to school here, terrified. You were with your daughter seeing this. It's not only yourself now, but you're thinking of your daughter.
Yeah, very scary. I just wanted to get us out of there, and there was people that were just kind of like standing around, looking around, and I'm like, grab one of the girls. I'm like, you need to run, get out, because people kind of didn't know what was going on. They had, like, their headphones. And you know, I'm like, leave your food, run. And I don't know, it was scary. I wanted to get everyone out.
I don't blame you. Let me chat with Wes real quick, too. Where were you when this happened, Wes?
So I was in a room fairly close to where it happened, and then some people just ran in and yelled active shooter, so we all just got out.
You hear those words, active shooter. They become normal words almost in America anymore, but still, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, really, none of us believed it at first, and then we still just got out and saw the hordes of people running. So
now just coming around chatting with people, that's kind of what you do now, because you're sharing a terrible experience with others. It's how you, I don't know, decompress and deal a little bit.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, talking here seems to help with people who experience it in the parking lot as well. Yeah.
I'm sorry you went through this, Wes. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And ma'am, I'm so sorry. Tell me, where were you when this happened? I heard you chatting with Kim and Bentley. You were pretty close.
I was really close. Watching the whole thing, I was probably on the second level up from, well, I've never been to this place except for classic car shows, so I can't really explain to you, but I was to the left of Charlie. Super clear view. Saw everything happen, heard the gunshot. I was the last one standing because I couldn't quite believe. I thought maybe it was a stunt. And then everybody fell to the ground. We all fell to the ground. I got pushed into some bushes. I stayed there. There was a lady with her elderly mom, and I said, "Is she okay?" And she said, "She's okay." So we just kind of stayed in the bushes for a few minutes, maybe a minute and a half. And then a man said, go this way. And we went right where Charlie had come in and out. And I was right behind the police when they had the man in the handcuffs, and I was standing right there next to them as he was on his knees, and he said, I would say multiple times, but at least twice, "Just shoot me, just shoot me." And I videoed it, and I called him every name in the book that I could think of, which is probably not appropriate, but I was a shaken ball and mess. I'm still shaking, and I'm still crying. I love Charlie Kirk. He's awesome. And I pray for him and his family. And I pray for everybody that was here to witness this. It's awful, and I don't understand why we can't have something like this that is truly innocent. You know, there were the non-believers, the ones that didn't like him, and that's fine. But to shoot him, he doesn't deserve this.
That's the part I keep hearing from a lot of people too, is like, look, no matter what side you're on, this shouldn't happen.
Never, never, ever, never. And I will always help anyone. I don't care if they're a Democrat, Republican, conservative, it does not matter. And I asked a girl, "Hey, can you tell me what building this is?" And she looked at my hat and she said, "Not with that fat hat. No way." And I was like, okay, well, that was rude, but whatever, you know, to each their own. But it's sad. It's really sad, the America that we have today.
I don't know. People keep saying, how do we fix this? And you keep thinking, is this tragedy going to be the spark that gets us back together? Because something is wrong, and we need to come together. But how?
I wish I had that answer. Oh, gosh, that's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? I wish I knew. Prayer. Pray. Stand up for your beliefs. Don't back down. Don't listen to the propaganda. Do your own research. Don't take one person's opinion as fact. Look into things for your own. I don't know.
You're still shaking.
I am.
I'm shaking just talking to you. But one thing that hit me when you were talking is you saw Charlie get shot.
Yes.
And then you were waiting because I think you don't know where it came from. You don't know how many people there are. You don't know what's going. That's terrifying.
Right. And like I said, I wasn't sure because he was literally talking about how many mass shootings from trans people. That's literally what they were talking about when it happened. And when I saw him get shot, like I said, I was probably the only one standing still for a minute because I was like, what the heck just happened? I thought maybe it wasn't real. And unfortunately it was real.
Now you're leaving, you're trying to get out of here, but you're talking with people you probably never met before because that's how you cope. This was a tragedy, and you were there.
Right.
You talked about it.
Right, and this lovely lady here, I just said pray, as I didn't realize that you guys were the news. I just said pray for Charlie, and she said, "Are you okay?" I don't know her, and she gave me a hug, and and I thanked her again for the hug because that's how we need to be. We need to be more loving and kind to our people. all of us. It doesn't matter the color of your skin or, your political background. It doesn't matter. We're human beings, we're Americans, and we should stand tall for each other.
Thank you for your time. I'm
Thank
so
you.
sorry that you witnessed this and went through this. And I know the adrenaline is wearing down now, and that's where it really hits. But thank you for your time and sharing some of that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
My
your
name's
time.
Elisa.
Elisa, I'm
Yeah.
Alex. Thank you for your time.
Nice to meet
Thank you so much. You said you want to play some
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
So Elisa, Kim, Bentley, Wes, just some of the people here who witnessed this, who were a part of this, just coming here to be a part of the debate, to hear Charlie Kirk speak. Again, no matter what side you're on, there are some people that you follow with the side you believe. And everybody we spoke with said violence should not be the answer. Violence shouldn't happen, that you should be able, especially on a college campus, to come and at least have a debate, talk about things that are tough, and to have it happen like this. I mean, Elise was just shaking when we were talking to her. Her hands were visibly shaking as she's holding onto her purse there. It's just a tough situation, and I'll show you the line again. I mean, we hear more police sirens here. I mean, the line, it's just cars backed up all the way, more students and people just leaving campus here, just trying to get out after what they've talked to. But things do certainly appear a lot calmer now than when we first got here maybe 30 minutes ago. We saw some people running when we were pulling into this parking lot here at UVU, and now it looks like people are just casually walking. But just, it's a sad day. Again, no matter what side you're on, this stuff, people saying shouldn't happen, and they're sharing their stories with us. So let's send it back to you for now.
Alex, thanks for catching and carrying that emotion in such a compassionate way. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. This was part of the American Comeback Tour by Charlie Kirk. It was a stop at UVU. There was a planned stop at Utah State a little bit later. The plan was to set up a Prove Me Wrong table there under that tent where people from the crowd would pose questions or challenges that then would, play out in a live debate. That event had not even really gotten underway when this particular event happened. Charlie Kirk shot this morning on the campus of Utah Valley University.
All right, we want to check in with KSL News Specialist Daniel Woodruff, who is also on campus. Daniel, we were just speaking with Alex Cabrero, and emotions, as you can imagine, running very high. Describe to us what you're hearing there on campus.
Yeah, definitely high emotions, Tamara and Brooke, and we'll talk to some other witnesses in just a minute. But first, I want to show you where we are. We are on the west side of the Utah Valley University campus, and as my photographer shoots in here, you can see the tent that says "Prove Me Wrong," and that is where Charlie Kirk was speaking when he was shot. And you can see behind there's an area where all of the spectators were gathered to watch his speech and to witness exactly what happened. I'm joined by 3 Utah Valley University students. This is Isaac. I'll start with you, Isaac, and you're from West Jordan, I understand.
Yeah.
You were in the crowd. Tell me what you saw.
We were just in the crowd, and you can hold it. Okay, yeah. We were just in the crowd, and we were just watching him do his debate. Nothing was crazy was going on. Wasn't any crazy topic he was talking about. And immediately, we were sitting next to each other. We just heard an immediate pop. We're like, what's going on here? And then after that pop, we just saw him in his neck. We saw him fall backward, blood shooting out of his neck, hit the floor, and we just had to bolt it out of there immediately. We got all soaked, running through the water. It was actually surreal. We didn't actually know what was going on. We just kind of were like, oh, like this might be like some skit. What is this? And we had no idea until everybody started running out of the way, and we're like, oh, this is one of those scenarios where you're actually in like a school shooting like position. You're like, holy. Then we got to get the hell out of here. So
yeah, how close would you say you were to where he was speaking?
Probably 20 feet, 20, 30 feet from where he was speaking. I actually personally saw him get shot. Everyone else was filming, and I was just sitting there just watching the debate, just seeing what was going on. And then I just immediately hear a pop, see him get shot in the neck, blood come out of him, and then he just hit the floor. And then I just take these guys, and we just run out of there.
Chris, I wanted to ask you for your perspective as well. Were you in similar position, kind of watching?
I was just right by him, and we were watching. It was kind of hard to see because everyone was like standing up. And I thought it initially was a firecracker, like a loud firecracker. Some people do dumb stuff all the time. And then no, we just saw him fall to the ground, and then we all just booked it. We ran, and it was crazy experience.
When you found out that he had been shot, and that as information trickled out, because now UVU has confirmed that he was shot, what did you think?
I thought it was super surreal because UVU is a nice place. It's a very good place. I thought that would more happen in more crime city type places, not at UVU, Utah. But it's a crazy experience. That's all it is.
Erica, I assume you were with these two guys as well. What did you see from your perspective?
I couldn't really see just because of all the people, but just the gunshot sound. we didn't think it was a gunshot at first. Everybody kind of stood there for a second and then hit the ground, and we all just ran out.
I can only imagine that feeling when everyone starts to run and panic. Can you describe what you did next after the shots?
I just ran. He grabbed my hand. I was just getting dragged, basically. I was pretty in shock, and so we ran through the water of the fountain just trying to get out of there as fast as possible.
Tell me why you had come to his event and why you wanted to hear Charlie speak today.
I just see him on social media and stuff. I like what he has to say, and I was excited to see the debate and hear more of what he has to say.
Yeah. We hear about political violence, Chris, and I mean, you don't think of it happening here. You don't think of it happening where you are, but yet here we are. How have you been processing the aftermath of this news?
To be honest, it's crazy to me because I wasn't even like that shocked in the moment. I was kind of like, did this really just happen? You know what I mean? I wasn't like frantic or anything. I just got out of there safety quickly, but it was a crazy experience. I don't know why or how this happened, but it's Utah. I feel like this is a pretty nice local neighborhood state, you know what I mean? So I would think that would more happen in other states, a little bit more violent, but it's tragic that it happened here.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and it's actually wild that this is happening. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah, I can't believe that I was actually part of something like that. But you hear about it, but you're like, is this actually going to happen? Like, to me one day, and then we were actually talking about it right before this, like, oh, the craziest part is, like, there was no checkpoints, nothing to get in here. Everyone was just able to walk in here. I'm like, I have my backpack. I'm like, if I wanted to, I could just bring a gun with me, but, like, I'm like, this is just crazy that everyone was just allowed in here and just with anything you could have in your backpack. And so I was like, and so there was no checkpoints, nothing. I just wish there was like some kind of checkpoints or something to at least check people, because if that was true, this probably wouldn't have happened. But I guess legislatively or by law, you can't have like checkpoints at some public schools. So I don't know how that works, but it's actually wild.
Had you seen a law enforcement presence generally around?
There was law enforcement presently around, but like the immediate response, I was like, is everyone like why are we not running more? Like, why is everybody sticking around? I was like, let's get the hell out of here. And I don't know. I just thought it was crazy. There was people there, but it didn't really. Everybody kind of just didn't know what was going on at the moment. They were just sitting there, like watching it. Like, oh, did he really? I'm like, yo, dude, he got shot, dude. Get out of here now, dude. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. And I heard you on the phone earlier sharing, I don't know if you were with family or friends talking, but I imagine you've probably got a lot of people hitting you up to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, no, totally. All my friends like, oh, dude, are you okay? Were you there? Like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, dude, it was crazy. I'm good. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm fine. But it was wild what happened. I saw him get shot, and I just immediately, we got out of there, bolted out of there. Cops are good now. I mean, they evacuated everybody, which is great. But it's just surreal, really, being in the moment, because you're like, this could never happen to me until it does, And
I think it's surreal, and I think many would say it's sad that at an event where you come to hear political speech that this type of thing happens.
Yeah, it's crazy because Charlie Kirk, I love the man. He's a great guy, and I don't know why anybody would feel a certain type of way to shoot him. It's just a debater. Like, who cares? You're just a debater. Like, you're not doing anything or harming anyone. So why shoot anybody? Like, let's just talk. If we're gonna be in this environment, let's just talk about stuff. I don't know why we have to become violent about it. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me, but. Yeah.
Isaac, Chris, Erica, thank you very much for making a few minutes. Glad you're okay.
No,
Thanks for. I will let you on your way now. Appreciate it, guys. So yeah, obviously these were some tense moments for those students that were here, and now we're going to show you here with some law enforcement walking by with weapons with them here on the west side of the UVU campus. Lots of law enforcement. I mean, where we are, I see law enforcement from Provo, from Orem, from UVU. We've been told the FBI is here. We've been told that other federal agents are here, and it's quite a scene. I mean, I've not seen anything like this. Certainly, I'm from here, grew up a couple miles to the east, and have not seen anything like that here, certainly at UVU or in this area. But you heard those witnesses here. I have one more individual who wanted to share a little bit more about what they saw. Tell me your name.
I'm Wesley.
Wesley, tell me what you noticed. You were inside there for this.
Yeah, so where I was at the line, I guess this side to the right of him, and I was just there to ask a question. I was there with a lot of my friends, just having a good time. We saw one person question him, just seemed business as usual. And then when the second person came up, he asked an interesting question about whether transgenders are disproportionately represented as mass shooters. And then I heard the shot, I looked over, I saw what I thought was smoke, and then I got out of there. And yeah, I think it's really interesting that the person asking the question was asking about shootings, like right as the shooting happened.
A tense moment. What did you do in the aftermath? Because I know everybody started to run.
Yes. Well, I mean, there was too much of a crowd, to sprint, because, it's a big crowd. So I just act calm. I walked out in that underpass at the pace I could. And then the police, first they said they wanted to interview me, and then as things took a while, they were just like, hey, just give me your number. And then sent me on my way. So
pretty.
Yeah, it was.
Well, Wesley, thank you very much. Get your thoughts there. So we've heard from a number now of witnesses that me and others that have interviewed of people that were inside there, or I should say outside, because it is an outdoor venue, when the shots were fired, when Charlie Kirk was shot. That's what we've got here from the west side of UVU campus. We'll continue to be here, but we'll send it for now back to you, Brooke and Tamara, in the studio.
Daniel Woodruff reporting live from UVU campus, where earlier today Charlie Kirk was shot. And we are hearing from the AP, who has confirmed that Charlie Kirk is in critical condition at a hospital, again, after being shot at this event held at UVU.
And though we don't know any other medical details on that, I think that's an exhale for a lot of people right now to at least hear the initial report of critical condition. The shot was fired. He recoiled. Bystanders describe him recoiling and immediately falling to the ground. It was quite a visually traumatic scene. But that's the latest update we can give, is that he is in critical condition. Dan Rascone is live there on the campus of Utah Valley University. Dan, orient us as to where you are.
Yeah, pretty incredible scene out here as far as talking to students. But let me give you a little idea as to where we're at here. Many of you, of course, know where the UCCU Center is at. We're just north of it right here. You can see all the traffic here, people trying to get out of this location, traffic completely backed up, a lot of cops, a lot of officers from a variety of different agencies all out here trying to be able to kind of lock down the campus, of course. And we've been hearing from students all along here. Many of these students right here, all these students have their own story. Let's start at the end here and kind of get your reaction. It's Ike.
Yes,
Did you
sir.
say, okay, Ike, tell me a little bit about where you were at, how close you were, and what you saw.
Yeah, so I was about 20 yards off the right-hand side of Charlie. Obviously, it's a traumatic thing. Nobody should have to see that in their lifetime. The taking of a life is hurtful and hard to see. But, we were talking about, he was having a conversation with somebody about gun violence, actually. And he was hit in kind of the left upper neck area, kind of in the carotid artery area. And it was just a traumatic thing to see. I feel bad for all these wonderful students and alumni that were present and had to see that. It's a tough thing to see, but obviously it's a very serious thing that we need to all be able to work through and work through together as a community and come together and really rally around Charlie and his family. Nobody should have to worry about their father or husband going out and doing the things that he loves, and that's a tough thing to see.
How many shots did you hear, and what happened right after he was hit? What was the mood of the crowd?
Yeah, one shot rang out. From what I heard, I don't know if anybody else heard different. One shot rang out and hit Charlie, struck Charlie, and I don't know if it's angels or good bystanders who jumped in and stopped more shots from coming, but I'm grateful that if somebody did, they deserve high praise. One shot hit Charlie, one shot rang out, lots of chaos, lots of panic. It's hard to stay cool, calm, and collected in those moments. And so, yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Stick around for just a minute, if you don't mind. Your name and just what you saw, where you were at, what you heard.
My name's Kaya Meek, and then we were just about 50 feet from the left of him. And then I just remember he was on his second conversation, and then that's when the shot came. And then we just saw his head jerk back and shoulder, and we immediately just turned and dropped to the ground. And then saw people start getting up and running. So we followed in with that, and were able to get to the apartment buildings and get in with a really kind girl that started driving us. And then,
how scary was this? What was the mood there?
It was just really terrifying. I mean, I was kind of in shock, because I was like, no way that just happened, But I'm definitely very grateful that there's only one shot and stuff, or else I think that a lot more people could have been injured.
Okay, thank you very much. And where were you at, and what did you hear there in the scene?
Yeah, I was with Kaya, and we were just 50 to 100 feet to the left, and just heard a shot, and then just saw his head fly back, and he just slumped in his chair and saw blood coming down his shirt, and then this people just yelling "get down," and then just see a flood of people going throughout these doors, so just ran and followed them.
Wow. You know, we hear about school shootings or university shootings, those kind of things. To actually be in there when it's happening, your thoughts about that?
I mean, you just never expect it to happen. You're just going to this event. You're not expecting anything to happen. So it's definitely shocking when something happens like that.
Tell me about why Charlie Kirk. What was it about? You wanted to go hear him, or what happened there?
He's on social media. I've seen a lot of him do a lot of debates. We just thought it'd be cool to come see him debate a couple people.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And share with us where you were at and kind of what you saw.
Yeah, I was about 50 feet to his right, and I want to say that he only got 1.5 questions in. The first question, he was very graceful when confronted about comparing Mormons to Protestant, and then the next question right before he got shot was asking about transgender mass shooters and the DOJ wanting to take their guns. And then he got a few words in, and then I heard that one shot rang out, and then he fell over to his left, and everybody panicked.
Okay. Man, thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. And boy, what a traumatic experience for all of these students here. Again, we're on the north side there of the UCCU Event Center here. Again, let me just kind of show you just traffic right here. You can see traffic completely still backed up. Everybody's still trying to get out of this location here. But you heard the stories there, you know, one after another. Just these are students that are just right there in the middle of it, and all of a sudden to have something like this happen right in front of them and witness something like this, just a very traumatic thing. But again, trying to get out of the north side here of the campus, boy, it is just a parking lot here. This, of course, happened, you know, about 12:30, right around there, a little bit after, and still here we are with traffic just really congested and everybody trying to get out of this location. We'll go ahead and send it back to you guys, and we'll continue to get more information out here and come back to you as soon as we have some more.
All right, Dan Rascon reporting live from the Utah Valley University campus there. And just to update you with the latest information that we've received, the AP reporting that Charlie Kirk is in a hospital in critical condition at this time.
The AP also reporting a few more details at the moment of impact. They described Charlie Kirk reaching up to grab his neck, right hand grabbing left side of the neck. There's quite a bit of blood. People describe it as very traumatic. He slumped to the floor, recoiled and slumped to the floor, and his security detail immediately assumed this scene. We have Jody Reynosa live on the campus of UVU. Jody, what can you tell us from where you're at?
Let me show you what I'm seeing here. You know, people keep mentioning the traffic as students, faculty, people try to get out and off of campus. But right down here, you can see just the line, the very long line of traffic. And then with people trying to get out of, you know, this exit area, it's just taking them a very long time. Some tense moments in the aftermath of this horrific shooting. Now, I'm here on campus just outside of the Wolverine services, and I also have, now there's probably about approximately 50,000 students that attend UVU, and I'm here with Marta Villa. She's a third-year student, and she wasn't there at the event, but she was in class, and still some very tense moments. Marta Villa, tell me, what was that experience like for you?
I mean, it was terrifying. None of us knew what was going on. I was just in class. Someone heard a stampede of people running down the hallway. They checked it out, and immediately they're like, lock the doors, just go in. There's been a shooting.
How were you feeling in those moments?
I think we were all terrified. I mean, yeah, I was very terrified. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, I just wanted more information.
Now, there are people who have talked about, you know, I wish there were metal detectors and, you know, maybe some more safety measures going on. One thing that terrified you were telling me earlier, is that the doors wouldn't lock. So tell me about that experience.
Yeah, we tried to lock the doors, but we were having issues with that. So the boys in the class the men in our class just were guarding the doors.
So they barricaded themselves across the door, basically, to help people?
Yeah, they were just standing by the doors just to make sure no one came in.
You hear about all these things happening across the nation, and folks here in Utah, you know, they don't think it's going to happen here in Orem, you know, Orem-Provo area. What are your thoughts on that? Have you ever experienced anything like that?
No, I have not experienced anything like that, and I think no one would have thought this was going to happen, but unfortunately it did.
As you've talked to other classmates or other people in your cohort here at UVU, what have they talked about, and what are you kind of maybe reassuring them about?
Oh, I haven't talked to anyone really except my family, and they're just asking me what's going on, if I'm okay, and I think everyone is just wondering if he's okay and if the shooter was detained, which I found out he was, and so that was good news.
Any fear to come back on campus?
No, I think we have this under control, and I think our police are doing a good job of detaining and making sure everything's under control here.
Thank you so much, Marta. So as Marta was saying, you know, there's a heavy police presence here, armed. You can see their rifles out. A lot of them have been in unmarked vehicles. So there is a, you know, heavy law enforcement presence because they want to assure that, you know, everybody's going to stay safe. Nothing like this happens again today or in the future. And so you've heard it from Marta, her experience, and how nerve-wracking to have the doors in your classroom not lock. So you can, you know, we'll be having more information unfold as we get more details, but I'll send it back to you.
Jody Reynoso reporting live for us from Utah Valley University. Appreciate the update there. Let's go ahead and check back in with Daniel Woodruff, who is also there at the UVU campus. And Daniel, you've been able to talk to folks there on the ground as well, getting their perspective of what happened at this event. As we know, the UVU campus has since been closed, but still a lot of people trickling in and a huge police presence.
Yeah, we're here on the west side of the Utah Valley University campus, and campus has been closed, as you said. Classes have all been canceled for the day. People have been asked to leave. As we got here, we saw a very long line of vehicles trying to get out, so there was a major congestion due to that. But campus is closed here at UVU due to the shooting of Charlie Kirk. And I am joined now by Sarah, who is originally from Draper, a Utah Valley University student. I understand you were inside, and it's been a traumatic thing to witness. Tell me a little bit about what you saw and how you've been feeling.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a little bit over an hour, over an hour since it's happened, and my heart is still racing and I'm still shaking a bit. It's definitely scary. Basically, Charlie Kirk came out at about like 12:06. And everybody was super excited to have him there. And the first student stepped up and they had a conversation about like Mormonism and Christianity. And then after that, they had another student step up to talk about transgenderism and the violence and gun violence that's been surrounding that recently. And that is when Charlie Kirk was shot. It was in the neck, and I watched the blood just spurt out all over his body as he slumped over and fell down. I believed that he was dead on impact, but it sounds like he is in critical condition. So big prayers going out to him, hoping that everything is okay. After the shooting, everybody was kind of shocked, and everybody fell to the ground. Everyone was screaming and really frantic. My mom was with me, and she looked up at me and said, "Run." So me and my friend grabbed hands and we ran out of the building, out across the street, all the way to Bucked Up, across from Utah Valley, and just waited there. And we had a sweet retired law enforcement officer kind of help us out and make sure that we were safe. So, because processing something like this, I mean, you mentioned your heart is still racing and probably still replaying what it is you saw and heard. Oh yeah, 100%. It's definitely really traumatic, and I didn't really realize how shocked and traumatized I was until, I mean, at least 30 minutes after. I was really, I just couldn't stop crying, and I mean, it's so sad and it's so evil. So yeah, I'm just glad nobody else got hurt, but big prayers out to Charlie Kirk and his family.
And from your description, Sarah, it sounds like you were sitting fairly close to the front.
Yeah, I was in the 4th row back. That's when I saw him just get hit right in the neck, lower neck, and just blood spurting out all over. It was awful.
You had come here to this event to hear him speak. Why did you want to come, and what were your thoughts about him as you made the decision to be here on a Wednesday morning?
Yeah, so I have classes today, or did have classes. I had my morning class, and afterwards I went to see Charlie Kirk. I mean, he's an awesome guy. I agree with all of his political stances. And I was really excited to see him, especially at my own university. So yeah, just going out there to support him before my next class, and what a traumatizing experience it was. So.
Yeah, and I think a lot could be said for the fact that at an event like this, something like that happens? Have you been thinking about that since this occurred?
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was really ironic that he started talking about gun violence right when he was shot. I mean, it's just awful. And honestly, Charlie is a hero. I truly believe that, and I believe his family are also heroes, and I wish the best for them.
And finally, Sarah, what about you personally? Because witnessing something like this, I can only imagine. I have not witnessed something like that. And so where do you go from here, and what do you think about as you process this tragic day?
Yeah, good question. I'm definitely going to be seeing my counselor. I will have a lot of therapy, and honestly, I think it's just going to bring me closer to God. And yeah, through the whole experience, just lots of prayers, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of personal work.
Sarah, I really appreciate you spending a few minutes. Thank you. Best to you and your mom.
Thank you so much.
So here on the west side of campus, that's just yet another voice of someone who was at this event. And the event happened just right behind us. In fact, I'll step out of the way and let photographer Ray here zoom in again just to show you. And I know we've seen a number of vantage points of this, but that tent in the distance, just past that overpass, is where Charlie Kirk was speaking. And then all of those bleacher-type places in the foreground, or background, I guess, that is where people were sitting. In fact, from this distance, I can see a lot of personal items that were clearly left behind in the mayhem of the shooting. And now a lot of law enforcement are on scene, and there is crime scene tape up around the area. This is about as close as we can get from this particular vantage point, but we see police from just in this area, Utah Valley University, Provo, Orem, and then other agencies as well have responded in addition to federal agents. And so this is now sort of eerily quiet on the west side of campus. A lot of people have moved on, left campus. We're just seeing some stragglers walking through, but it seems like everyone who walks by was there. They heard what happened, or they saw what happened, and then many of them ran in the aftermath of the shooting. And as you heard with Sarah there talking to me, her heart's still racing. This was a terrifying, scary ordeal for her to witness and to process, and certainly that's only just beginning for her to deal with the feelings and emotions of what she's seen. So that's the latest from the west side of the campus. We'll send it back to you for now in studio.
Daniel Woodruff, we appreciate that. I can't imagine for those folks who were there describing that traumatic scene.
Absolutely. Let's go to news specialist Alex Cabrera. He's at another vantage point on campus. Alex, you've been talking to people. What are you hearing now?
Right, we've been in a parking lot here for about an hour or so, chatting with some people, some students, some others who just came here for this debate. And you can still see there is still a little bit of traffic as people continue to leave this area, trying to get back to wherever they're going to. But I'm going to interview somebody named Taylor Westmoreland, and she's special to me because this is actually my niece. I've never really interviewed a family member before, but Taylor was on campus when this happened, heard the gunshots, and so I found out she was here, so that's kind of terrifying when you have a family member here. But Taylor, tell me, what did you tell everybody? What did you hear? You know what I mean? What did you hear, and then what happened?
Yeah, my friend and I got there pretty late, and so when we arrived, we were right in the building behind him, and we just heard a gunshot, and everyone just started screaming. It was really chaotic, and we just ended up turning and running. There was just crowds of people screaming, and then just like shooter, gun, and then we ended up getting outside, but it was chaotic for a really long time, really scary.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, like what do you do when you hear that gun shots?
Yeah,
and you freak out. But
I was kind of like in disbelief for a second, and when everyone was running, and then yeah, I just started booking it. My friend threw her drink, and we just got out of there like as fast as we could. But
this is always something that happens somewhere else.
Yeah, no, it's odd to be a part of something like this. It's horrible, of course, and really sad for him and his family, but yeah, it was really scary. I'm glad everyone got out okay.
Okay, Taylor, give me a hug. I'm happy you're doing okay, and that we met up and that you're doing well.
Okay.
Thanks, Taylor. Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, you're
Thanks,
good.
Taylor.
Thank you.
So that's, again, I know that my niece is a student here, so I heard that she was here and kind of like wasn't answering her phone at first, and hoping everything is okay, and I'm happy she's okay. But just one of the many people here that just came out just to hear a debate, to be a part of something like this. Charlie Kirk is a big personality. A lot of people like what he has to say. A lot of people don't like what he has to say, but either way on a college campus, you think this is something where you would maybe hear something you don't believe in or something that you do believe in, and then something like this happens. So it is sad. A lot of people witnessed this. I heard one of the interviews I think my colleague Daniel Woodruff was doing where one witness said he saw the blood, and that's just, it's sad. You know, how do you decompress from something like that? You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of students are doing right now, just decompressing from something they saw today, and it's just an unfortunate situation. But traffic moving along, people continue to get out of here, and we will chat with some more students about their thoughts on this whole thing as we continue our coverage here. Back to you.
Well, Alex, we appreciate that. You know, there are so many students on campus right now for that event. It's hard when this hits home and it becomes then one of your own family members who is there at the event, and you're worried for her safety, of course, and glad everything's okay. Thank you for that report.
And we are continuing to get new information about Charlie Kirk being shot. AP reporting that Charlie Kirk is in critical condition at a local hospital, and this is something that we are certainly going to continue covering. We do have several reporters out there on the UVU campus. We do want to go ahead and check in with Andrew Adams. Andrew, as we've been hearing from Alex and Daniel and Dan, there are folks still trickling in, although campus is closed right now, giving us their perspective of just how traumatic that experience was.
Well, an extremely traumatic experience for a lot of people, especially when there were deep feelings about Charlie Kirk. A lot of people love Charlie Kirk, and to see this happen in front of him was just unbelievable to them. Getting in and out of campus is pretty wild right now, with the campus essentially being evacuated after this and the school being closed for the rest of the day. You have a lot of traffic backup migrating out. These two students here decided to chat with us for a minute. They're just waiting out the wait, which is quite long, and I appreciate you being willing to talk with us. Austin Watson, Sierra Arbon, you were there this afternoon. Just tell me how it went down from your eyes.
I mean, it was pretty chaotic with all the people. There was hundreds and hundreds of people in attendance that were just listening. I mean, he had a huge support here. Everyone was cheering for him. There was obviously some protesters too, and then it was honestly pretty hard to hear. So I guess what had happened was someone asked him a question about gun violence, and then we heard a shot, and for a second it was like, it didn't even feel like it was like actually happening. It almost sounded like a firecracker. And then from where I was standing, I wasn't right up next to him, but I saw him double over, and then everybody like went down to the ground, and then after a few seconds it was just like a sea of people just trying to get out of there. And yeah, there's videos you can see online. There's just everyone's coming out full speed, and there's phones on the ground, AirPods, like everything. Everyone's just leaving all their stuff, and it was pretty chaotic. So it was crazy.
Sarah, you were watching that. What went through your mind as this was just happening?
A lot of things were going through my mind. I was thinking about how I wasn't supposed to be there today and how I was supposed to be at work, but then it got canceled. And I was scared. It was a scary situation, but kind of along the same lines as Austin. I thought at first that it was a firecracker, and then I realized that was a gunshot, because I'm short, so I didn't see above the crowd. I couldn't really see Charlie when it happened, but yeah, it was scary.
What interested you most about Charlie Kirk and why you came out today?
Well, I would say he's just an interesting person. I honestly haven't listened to a ton of his stuff, but I knew that he is like a pretty strong conservative Republican figure, and I lean more that way. So I just was interested to see what questions other students at UVU had to ask, and what his response would be to them is really it.
Austin, you followed him a little bit more. Tell me just your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really respect Charlie as a person. He's a great person. He's a family guy, a good Christian. Like, he has strong beliefs. They chatted a lot about religion right before it happened. I mean, there was only one question before the shooting, but I really think he's a great person, and he sticks up for what he believes in, and I respect that. And I enjoy watching him debate people. He knows what he's talking about, and he comes from a state of logic, and I respect that a lot. And so I've watched his videos for a while, for years now, honestly. So I think, yeah, he's a really interesting person. I was pretty excited to hear that he was coming to Utah so that he could see, you know, what Utah's about and have his support group here, because I know a lot of people really respect him here. So it's pretty sad that it had to happen here.
Well, I was going to say, just the fact that there was a shooting, he was shot, and an event like this, your thoughts about that?
It's kind of shocking just seeing how many hundreds and hundreds of people were there in support of him. And you know, I think it's really sad. I think people are trying to prove a point. It didn't change my thoughts on the right to bear arms at all. And so it seems like it was kind of for nothing. And I think people just want recognition, and they want to think they're doing something in support of their beliefs. And I think that's pretty messed up. So.
Austin Watts, Sierra Arbonne, I appreciate you being willing to chat with me for a few minutes. Everybody just trying to take this in, what happened here at UVU, and of course, trying to get away from campus is going to take a while. If I can actually just push the camera over here, I didn't prep Stuart for this, but if you look over here, there's this line of cars, and so it's going to take a while. Just getting in here is tough, getting out of here is tough. Some people just wanting to sit it out because there is no easy way out of campus as it has been closed, and as police, as we've seen, have been sweeping the grounds here. So we're going to change positions from where we are. We'll bring you more, but toss it back to the studio for now.
All right, Andrew, thank you for that update. We have an important update that we want to bring you now. Earlier, this is NBC reporting that the university had confirmed that they had the suspect in custody. Now they are saying they do not have the suspect in custody. That may help explain why the campus has been on lockdown, why they have not been allowing people in and out of the university. We can't confirm that report, but that's the latest on the status of what they had reported earlier.
And again, Charlie Kirk reportedly shot in the neck while visiting UVU during his Prove Me Wrong tour. We understand he is in critical condition. We are checking in with our news specialist that we have out there on campus. Let's go ahead and check in with Jody Reynosa right now. You are in one of the parking lots near where this event was taking place and had a chance to talk to some folks who were there and witnessed this.
That is correct. In fact, we are still seeing such heavy traffic, as everybody has mentioned before. Here is an egress right here. Pretty much every artery going in and out of campus is just packed. Because right here it looks like, oh, maybe there's a lull in traffic. Nope, you turn this way. I'm having Greg turn this way, and you have a whole line of traffic trying to exit. And parking lots right now, I'm seeing they're packed because of some students just wanting to kind of, wait it out, see what's happening. Now, let me point you to the direction. Students are telling us that in between these buildings, so you see on the right side, there's like these little pyramids on the top of that roof, and then you see the building to the left. Well, the venue was right between those buildings. We're not able to go close at this point, but that just gives you a perspective as to where the venue was. And as you mentioned before, I do have two students. These are unique students in that they are high school students, okay? They are at Cedar Valley in their senior year. They were just here on campus, though, to take a test. So I'm here with Ryder Warner and Kylie Stauffer. Okay, Ryder, let's start with you. Tell us, what was going on, because you were there at the venue when it first happened.
Yes, ma'am. We were driving past it. So when we passed it, obviously you have all the news cameras, all the cameras pointing towards them, all the students rushing in to go and see what's going on. So we got to witness that, and just a normal talk by Charlie Kirk. It was kind of cool to see Charlie Kirk here. We watch him on TV a lot, watch his clips a lot on YouTube, whatnot. So it was cool to see that. I was in a rush for a test, so I didn't get to stop and see, but I did get to see the venue. It was super pretty. Whole student body was there. It was super pretty to see. Got here, and it seemed like everything was in chaos. They were super hesitant about letting us test.
Before we get to the test, though, I want to just take us back to where you were in the venue, because you said you actually witnessed the shooting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when they shot, it was, I wasn't actually there. I just saw it afterwards, the aftermath, the cops rushing up, the helicopters flying in. I just saw videos afterwards. It was probably 2 minutes after I left that I actually got to see what happened. So when
you got video from another student, because you said it was very gruesome. What do you mean by that?
Yes, ma'am. The video I had showed the side camera of it, so it was him getting shot in the neck, and you can just see his neck go limp and all the blood come out, stuff like that. Super gruesome scene. I'm super glad I didn't see it in person.
Did you, at that moment, did you go to, what is going on? I mean, what were you thinking at that point?
Definitely panic mode. As soon as I saw that, I knew, well, I'm here on campus. I don't think they're going to let us test, and sure enough, they didn't. Obviously, super panicked. I felt for him, watching him for years. I definitely felt a little bit of sorrow for his family too. But yeah, state of panic and definitely just a little bit hurt for him and his family. He is a dad of 2 kids.
Now, it's unique being that you're in high school and you watch Charlie Kirk. You know, you said that your dad and grandpa watch him, and last night you were watching a YouTube video, is that right? And you didn't even know he was going to be here.
I didn't even know he was going to be here. He popped up on my For You page on TikTok, and I was just scrolling through, and I love watching his debates, especially as somebody who's big into English. I was watching his debates and learning how he argues, and I actually definitely based a lot of what he does into my own life, which is big for me, you know, being a student, especially being in an English class.
Now, does he ever talk about violence, or is it, you mentioned he was more Christian-based, and so this seems just out of the ordinary? It
is absolutely out of the ordinary. I can't believe that this even happened. He never talks about violence. You know, it's not something he's big into. He's just into the argumentative side. He loves getting other people's perspectives. He definitely can get under people's skin just because in like any argument, you know, you're arguing against somebody or against what they're saying. And I guess that just got to him, and somebody finally decided to act on it.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Ryder, we're going to be back with Kylie a little bit later, but we're going to throw it back to you.
Jody Reynosa reporting live from UVU. Again, if you are just joining us, breaking news, Charlie Kirk shot there on the UVU campus as part of his comeback tour. We understand that as he was speaking here at Utah Valley University today, he was also scheduled to bring his American Comeback Tour to Utah State University, and that was going to be held on September 30th, so the end of this month. He was going to make several stops, Deanie.
Yeah, we're getting a word of a Utah-based, it's a change.org petition that basically would keep him from coming, and these are based at Utah State University, where he was scheduled to come later this month. The petition had 3,500 signatures. Students, hundreds reportedly today, are joining on that petition to ask board trustees at the university to prevent this Charlie Kirk from coming to their campus. And it's part of a national debate over controversial speakers coming on college campuses and universities' role in balancing the freedom of speech and them hearing these speakers versus protecting the safety of students.
And as we just heard from several folks, you know, they wanted to come out. This is what attracts them to Charlie Kirk, because they're able to have this type of dialogue on college campuses. Of course, it does come with some controversy. We do want to check back in with Daniel Woodruff, who is also there on campus. And Daniel, you've had a chance to talk to people there about some of the sights and sounds that they saw. And talking to some bystanders earlier today, they talked about a very calm event moments before they heard a shot.
Yeah, in fact, I'm joined by 2 more Utah Valley University students who told me that they were some of the first actually to arrive morning for this event. Logan and Raleigh here. Logan, we'll start with you. What kind of set the scene for me? What was it like this morning when you got here, and then tell me what happened?
Yeah, we arrived, I want to say, an hour and a half before everything went on, and there's a couple hundred people here, pretty chill. But then as things went on, people just gathered. I would say there's thousands of people here. And we thought things were just a little unsecure. We thought, you know,
in terms of security getting in.
Yeah, security getting in. There weren't a lot of officers around, police officers. So we just thought things, I don't know, just it didn't seem right from the beginning, in my opinion.
Raleigh, as you were there, what did you notice as the crowd was kind of settling in, and who was there?
Yeah, so we were all there. We were having a good time, excited to see Charlie. The majority of us were, we support Charlie, and there's a group of other people that were kind of antagonizing us up on this bridge up here. And I don't know, there's definitely some kind of bad feelings towards each other, but we didn't think much of it. Like, we thought the security was a little bit off. Like, there wasn't many people looking around to see if anything suspicious was going on. But I don't know, it's a tragic thing that happened, and really sad, and we don't really wish that on anybody.
And Raleigh, when it happened, where were you, and what did you see or hear?
Yeah, so me and Logan and a couple other my buddies, we were, 15 feet away from Charlie, give or take.
Like 5 rows back about.
Like maybe 5 rows back. And all of a sudden, after the first questionnaire, the person asked a question, the second guy walked up, he started saying something, and then we just heard a pop. It sounded like a firework, but it just echoed around. No one really knew what was going on. And everybody kind of just got stunned for like 3 seconds, and then everybody just dogpiled on top of everybody, trying to get low to the ground, mass chaos, and it was pretty scary. everybody was like freaking out, trying to find people they're with, make sure they're safe. And we didn't know if there was going to be more shots fired or anything. We were like, I had no idea.
Logan, were you watching the stage where Charlie was speaking when he was shot?
Yeah, so I actually saw it happen, and it was really disturbing. You know, he fell back, and we all dropped. He was rushed off, and then we all just ran towards this way, like through that bridge under there. So, yeah, it was just really disturbing, hard to watch.
We know that this event had attracted some controversy with the petition to try to cancel it, but as you were here and as the event began, I mean, I imagine that it felt like you were surrounded by people who were like-minded or who at least supported him being here to speak.
Yeah, I would say majority of the crowd was for him. You know, there was a lot of chants going on. A lot of the people were for Charlie. There were some people in the back that were, you know, against him, but I would say majority were for him.
And as you've processed what happened, I mean, it's been now I guess a couple of hours, I don't even know what time it is, but what's been going through your mind as you've just sort of been replaying what you watched?
I'm lost for words. I don't know. It's something we'll remember for the rest of our lives, that's for sure. I don't know. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Obviously super sad and tragic, and I think it's sad that we can't even have a civil conversation anymore. Yeah. It just turns into stuff like this. Like, he has an open mic. Like, if you disagree with him, come talk to him. But apparently that's not what some people want to do, and they want to just have violence and lash out instead of talking through things.
And we love Charlie. We hope he's okay. Yeah, we're praying for him, and we hope everything's all right.
And in terms of engaging with him, that's, as I understand, the point of the tour, correct? Is that he'll answer questions and that it's a back and forth engagement.
That's exactly right. So if you disagree with him, he welcomes you up, and he'll try to be respectful. Some people aren't respectful to him, and it kind of gets heated sometimes, but he's open to discuss things with you, and he tries to keep an open mind. So I just think it's sad that other people won't give him the same kind of courtesy.
Well, you guys are students here. You're from Utah County. Any final thoughts you'd like to share?
Just prayers out to Charlie and his family, and
stay safe.
Yeah.
Well, Logan and Raleigh, I appreciate it. Thank you for spending a few minutes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So some more perspectives here from the west side of the Utah Valley University campus. And the campus is closed now as a result of this shooting for the rest of the day. No classes are being held. I did want to note that I got an alert from BYU, which is not too many miles from here in Provo. They sent out an alert noting that their campus remains open, but that they do have increased security and police presence as a result of what happened here at neighboring Utah Valley University. So a lot of surrounding institutions and organizations are closely watching what's happened and waiting for more information. Obviously, a lot is still unknown right now, but you heard from these witnesses what they saw, what they heard as they were just behind me here where the event was taking place. The tent where Charlie Kirk was speaking is literally a few yards away from where we're standing right now on the west side of UVU. Back to you.
Yeah, Daniel, that was some really stark testimony and things that they witnessed today. You know, I had another thought as we were seeing the video from Chopper 5 of those bleachers, an event that had been full just moments before and was now, you see, littered with backpacks and with water bottles. And it's a hard contrast to see an event where people are having open discourse to one where they obviously fled in fear and just left everything behind. That was I don't know,
it's very telling, isn't it?
It is. It says a lot just by what's left behind.
And we've been hearing accounts all afternoon long from our news specialists that out there on campus. We want to check back in with Dan Rescon. And Dan, you have been speaking to so many people there that they're just willing to share their insights and what they saw, some describing it as traumatic and something they're never going to forget.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Boyd. These stories that we're hearing out here on campus are just pretty incredible right now. But we're about 2 hours after the shooting here. Things are finally starting to clear up out here. That's UCCU Center there, just over here. So we're on the north side of it, and as you can see, the traffic right now beginning to clear up. It's pretty much opened up right around in this area also. So it's finally starting to kind of get that congestion out of the way here. But we're going to bring in Gordon Ramses. Now, Gordon, you were actually there at the event also. We've been hearing a lot of stories from people that were there at the event. You were kind of behind the event, and as far as like some windows were right there, and then you were seeing. What did you see exactly from your vantage point?
So, like you said, I was like in the Hall of Flags building. I was behind the window. When I heard the shots, I didn't see where the shot came from. Of course, when when that shot happened, everybody from my building ducked down. I ducked down as well, and like before I ducked down, I got like a little glimpse at Charlie Kirk, and there was blood all over his shoulder and on his left shoulder, and that is pretty devastating to see. I wish I could unsee that, but that was pretty traumatizing and stuff.
We've heard a lot of that. Your reaction that something would happen like that right here at UVU? I mean, this is obviously a very safe campus, a lot of good students here, a lot of good people. Your reaction?
Yeah, no, like you said, like there's a lot of good people, like friends, professors. This is UVU is the place for you, and like so far, like it's been an awesome experience. For something that to happen is just really devastating, and I can't believe it happened right here.
Kind of describe a little bit of the chaos there is what we heard as far as people kind of running and kind of getting out of the way there. I mean, there's some shock there, but tell us kind of what you saw when people started to kind of get out of the way.
So yeah, when I saw the one, like after the shot, everybody from the courtyard started running away. Everybody from my building started running away. But me, like I was like a little shocked, so like, I couldn't really move. So I was just standing in one spot, ducking my head down. For some reason, I don't know why I didn't run away. I was just like, oh my goodness, is this really happening? Well, so at first I was like, is this really happening? And yeah, so then like after like everybody was cleared out, I finally got up and looked at the aftermath, and it was pretty devastating.
And tell me a little bit about coming back to school now. Of course, campus is closed right now.
Yeah.
Your thoughts about coming back to school? Is that going to be a little traumatic?
I mean, for me, it won't be dramatic. It'll just be like another day, another like life. I mean, yeah, did it traumatize me? Yeah, but like I'm not gonna think about it too much. Of course, like, will it traumatize me for life, forever? Yeah, it will. But all of this is like keeping positive, having positive minds, and like having like Jesus and God on your side. So, but like for other students, they're probably traumatized to come back here. I can't imagine what other students have to go through, especially something similar to mine.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. That's Gordon Ramsey's just joining us here on campus. Again, we're hearing a lot of the same kind of stories here. A lot of trauma here as far as these students are concerned, a lot of shock, a lot of disbelief that something like that would just happen right there in the middle of the day. It seemed like a very safe venue. It seemed like a very safe area, of course, and then to have something like that happen and to witness something like that. And not only did they witness it, but it was very traumatic as far as what they witnessed. To be able to see someone actually get hit with a bullet, blood coming out, and then that person dropping to the ground. So everybody out here, a lot of people saying that are praying for Charlie, hoping that he will be able to recover right now. But again, campus is finally starting to clear out in this area again, as we mentioned, just on the north side here of the UCCU Center Arena. And boy, traffic is really kind of moving forward finally, but it took a couple of hours to be able to get everybody out of here. But man, it was quite the traffic jam. A lot of police presence still out here in this area. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Dan Rascon reporting live from UVU campus. Thank you, Dan.
One thing I'm seeing on social media here, just in the last half hour, UVU has put on X, that campus is closed, classes canceled. We knew that, but they're still calling on people who are on campus to shelter in place. That coincides, with the information that we've learned that the university has now said they do not have a suspect in custody. So just keeping you up to date. We can't confirm the suspect of the status of the suspect, but within the last half hour, the university is still urging people to secure in place until police officers can escort you safely off campus. Let's go now to Alex Cabrera, who has been on campus. Alex, what are you hearing out there in your vantage point now?
Yeah, we made it a little further onto campus from where the parking lot was, and you just mentioned that police are asking those still inside the school to shelter in place until an officer can maybe escort them to a parking lot or to the car. And that's what we've seen a little bit here and there. A lot of police officers here near the UCC Center, and then right behind us over here, I mean, there are several police officers from all sorts of different agencies, not only in Utah County, but I've noticed a few from outside of Utah County as well, just all helping to be a part of this. And just a few seconds, oh yeah, up there you can see the DPS helicopter, Department of Public Safety, up in the air as well. Now, one thing, hearing that maybe a suspect is not in custody at this point. Originally, we were hearing that there was a suspect in custody, and it kind of let a lot of people here on campus that we saw students leaving the area maybe think a little bit like, okay, let's just leave, everything's okay. But now hearing that a suspect may not be in custody, it's kind of amped things up just a little bit again with students, as they're saying, is it's safe to get out of here. And last we heard again that if you are in a building right now, shelter in place and wait for a police officer to come get you. But as you can see, I mean, just the parking lot here, it was definitely full a little while ago. Still a lot of cars here from those that are sheltering in place and such like that. But just waiting now to get the official word that it might be okay to come out. And here you can see a police officer right here armed and just making sure everything is tip-top on this end before maybe letting some students that are still in the building out of the building. So we'll continue to stay here. In fact, I was just chatting with an employee, a source of mine, somebody that I've known for a few years, saying that they were inside their offices right back in here. They were brought to the baseball field, and now they have been moved from the baseball field as they still try to figure out exactly what's going on with the suspect and everything about safety on that sort of thing. So again, we'll continue to stay here. We'll walk around, chat with some more people, and try to update you with more information as it becomes available.
Thank you so much. Alex Cabrera reporting live from us from UVU campus. And just want to bring your attention to the screen here. We were just looking at chopper video there, and we had just mentioned that Utah Valley University had sent out a post on X reminding folks that the campus is closed right now. Classes have since been canceled. And as we've been talking about talking to our reporters, there's still people trickling in, but as you can see from the Chopper 5 footage here, we did see what appeared to be law enforcement going door to door from building to building, and that coincides with what UVU has posted on X. They are making sure that the campus is secure. They're going building to building. If you are on campus, they are escorting people safely off campus. They're just reminding people to please clear out the campus again, because UVU had reported just within minutes that they do not have a suspect in custody. So this is going to be something that they're actively pursuing right now, as we're showing you that Chopper 5 footage where police are going building to building. They're going to be escorting people off campus, making sure that the campus is safe and secure.
Let's go now to Mike Hedrick, who is on the UVU campus. So, Mike, just within the last few minutes, UVU is calling this an unfolding situation. We're still seeing officers going in. What can you tell us from what you're seeing?
Yeah, as officers are going in, everyone else is coming out. So you look in the parking lot right here. This is the main entrance of UVU where that roundabout is, and it gets pretty busy during school time. I have never seen this many emergency vehicles in one spot at one time. It's incredible. An armored car is behind me as well. You have multiple SWAT agencies that are here. So again, when you look at all these flashing lights, all these emergency vehicles, if there's any question how seriously they're taking it, that's it right there. And so I've spoken to a number of students who were here on campus. As Alex talked about a little bit earlier, as they go inside these buildings here, room by room, clearing things out, they're not letting anyone in. We had one student that I overheard she was trying to get inside there and get her laptop. They're like, sorry, give me your name and number. We can get that to you later, but now's not the time to do so. So right now they're clearing everything out. I'll tell you, I parked about a mile or so away. That's how far I had to be away and then in order to walk all the way in here. And again, here we are 2 hours after this shooting. You still have this police presence and you still have the traffic that you do of people just trying to get out of here. Again, Alex commented on the investigative part of this. We're still in the early moments of this, as you know, even a couple hours in. It's still early. They're still trying to gather what information. They're just trying to make sure everyone is safe at this point. And I think once everyone is considered to be safe and there doesn't appear to be any further threats in the area, that's when they're going to come out. That's where they're going to discuss and tell us what they know so far. I spoke with one individual, actually a member of the basketball team here at UVU. He was in the parking lot trying to get out just like everyone else. He said he was there maybe 20, 30 yards away at this event. And when he saw Charlie get shot, he said, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And so That seems to be the same thing we're hearing from a number of other people. And as soon as he was shot, he said it appeared he was shot in his neck and then he dropped. Again, these are witness statements. These are things that we have seen, or they have seen, and they're sharing with us. None of this has been officially confirmed, so we're waiting on that. But again, Deanie, as we look at this main entrance here to UVU, what the feel is, it's quiet right now, other than you just see all of these lights. And I dare say most of those cars are empty right now. Police presence is heavy on campus right now. We'll continue and follow it, and if anything changes, we'll let you know.
Mike, we appreciate that update, and we've got another update. This is from NBC News. President Trump is posting on Truth Social just within the last few minutes. He has reported that Charlie Kirk has died. Again, we are just seeing this as we're reporting it. We got it from NBC News, but it is a report from President Trump on his Truth Social
and as
media.
That is just really some unsettling news, especially based on the accounts that we've been hearing from bystanders who were there, witnesses, students who had gone to this event just 2 hours ago, coinciding with what they saw. Reports also confirmed by AP that he was shot in the neck. Very traumatic for those people that we have been hearing from. And now to get a post from President Donald Trump stating, in fact, that 31-year-old Charlie Kirk has died.
We've been seeing all afternoon. It's a sobering update, because we've been seeing all afternoon leaders from the state, leaders from the political parties, even on the national level, sending their prayers, their concerns for Charlie Kirk and for Utah and the students and everybody who was involved in that. It's hard news to process on top of what everybody has already been through down there.
And we have been talking about UVU campus as well. Classes canceled today, campus closed. Police saying that everybody needs to clear out to make sure that the campus is secure and safe. We do have our reporters who have been there on scene, and they've been talking to some folks there about their perspective about what they saw there at that event. Let's go to Jody Reynosa now. Jody, what can you tell us?
Well, it's a very solemn feeling right now. As reporters talked about before, it's quieted down here. The parking lots are very thin. You don't see, the stream of cars trying to make that egress, out of campus. A lot quieter than before. But we did see those SWAT sheriff, big vehicles coming in here to make sure things are safe, or to see what they can do, figure out what they can do. We're hearing DPS helicopters overhead. I am with a high school senior from Cedar Valley High School. Kylie Stauffer joins me, and she was here. She wasn't expecting to go see Charlie Kirk. She was actually here to support Ryder, who I spoke with earlier. But we're going to go to her and see, what was that feeling like when you heard people coming out and screaming?
It's a very surreal, scary moment, not knowing what's going on with everybody around, and it's like, where are they? That's the scariest part, not knowing where they are and wondering if you guys are safe and if, everybody else is safe.
And you happen to be here to give support to Ryder, who was taking a test, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, what is your family, your friends, is there a flurry of text messages coming in saying, are you okay?
So many text messages, are you okay? What's going on? I heard it on the news. A lot coming in.
What is your feeling, though? I mean, not too common that this happens around these parts.
No, it's very scary, especially it's very shock. I feel like we're all still in shock. Like, it just hasn't, set in all the way, because we're all just, hearing everything as it's coming in.
And now hearing that Charlie Kirk has passed from this horrific shooting, what are your feelings?
Super sad. I don't even know what to feel at this point, because it's all just happened so fast, and just very sad, feel bad for his family and everybody else.
Any of your actions or your path forward, in your mind, has that kind of changed, or has the trajectory changed, being that this happened? I mean, you're in high school. I mean, are you thinking about, okay, what precautionary measures do I need to take if I decide to go to college around here?
Yeah, it really makes you realize that, the world is very real. We're not going to be protected much longer as we're in high school, realizing that I need to look at things when I go to college like that and realize there's a world out there.
What are the drills like at Cedar Valley High School for something like this?
I don't know, just locked down in our classrooms. We actually had one a few years back, so just kind of staying put until we get there okay.
So you had one at the school not too long ago, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, and then now this. What is your take on everything? If you could talk to the people who can't be here right now, maybe high school students across the country, what would you tell them?
That's a loaded question. Stay safe. I don't know. Just really realize there's real things out there, and you need to take those precautions and keep yourself out of those harmless situations if possible.
Thank you so much, Kylie. All right, so a very solemn, quiet scene here. People are still in shock. They are just, trying to grapple with what's going on. But I will send it back to you.
Reynosa reporting live for us from the UVU campus, talking to folks there. Again, just getting the news moments ago. President Trump posting on Truth Social that Charlie Kirk, 31-year-old Charlie Kirk, has died.
Yeah, we just are seeing also a post on social media from Governor Cox, who says he just got off the phone with President Trump, working with the FBI and the Utah law enforcement to bring this individual to justice after this tragedy. He and his wife Abby are heartbroken. Tough news. Everyone is reeling from this because it's been such a traumatic event to happen in our state, on our campus, to expose so many young people to something like this, and we all are going to be grieving this together. Let's go to this special report from NBC for a moment and see what they are reporting at that level.
That someone who engaged, exercised his democratic rights, both encouraged